Welcome to another episode of the PLA podcast. I have a very, very special guest on today, and I am so excited to interview Prabhu on the PLA podcast. He has an incredible story, not only professionally, but also personally, that I'm so excited to highlight because it is going to come and connect with each and every one of your hearts, and I know it already. Prabhu, welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you. Hey, I'm so excited to be part of this and thank you for doing this for all of us. Appreciate it.
It's incredible. So first, before we get into the questions, I really want to introduce you a little bit more formally to our audience today. For those who haven't had the absolute privilege of getting to know you personally, like we have at the PLA community. So here is Prabhu Ganesan, a proud dad of two. With one child in high school and the other in elementary school, returned to academics nearly 20 years after his bachelor's degree, earning an M.Tech in data science and engineering from BITS Pilani. Experienced technology leader with deep expertise in IBM mainframe modernization and data integration, successfully led large-scale projects, guiding organizations in transitioning from legacy systems to modern platforms, balancing the demands of family life and tech leadership, offering unique insights from both worlds. Prabhu, welcome. It's so lovely to have you here with us today.
Oh, great introduction, Sonia. I'll yes, smile here.
Oh, it's
So,
go for it.
yeah, I mean, you basically covered my intro, but I mean, for all the ones who I haven't introduced myself within the PLA and also outside. So I'm Prabhu. I've been in the IT industry for more than 20 years now. And I've been working on projects from IBM mainframe organizations where we move the workloads from mainframe to cloud and data projects as well. And 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 outside of work, as Mia said, I'm a dad of two, one in high school and one just in the elementary. So I can see both worlds there. And my family is one that keeps me grounded. And what I truly believe is resilience and hard work and being a lifelong learner. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Oh, incredible, Prabhu. We're so blessed to have you, and I'm so excited to share your story with everyone. First and foremost, I would love for you to share where it all began, where your career began, and then I want to ask my questions that I'm so excited to ask you about.
All right. So I finished my engineering. I mean, as I'm not sure if you know, if you are brought up in a middle class Indian family background, you got to be either an engineer or a doctor. Becoming a doctor is much harder. So I chose the engineering path. So that's how I became an engineer. Obviously, I mean, mechanical was my interest. So I'm always interested in cars. I thought that is what I wanted to become. So I became a mechanical engineer, but later found out my true passion is in IT. And after finishing my engineering, I just did some um, things that I can learn outside of the college and just transition myself into an IT field. And I've been working in a place called Chennai, India. It's southern part of India. And yeah, I mean, it's been already 20 years already. I'm into this industry and I'm doing well and I don't regret at all. And thinking back, I think I made the right choice. But although just entering this field was a bit scary because one of the key criteria that are looked for an IT professional back in India is somebody who can be very clear and exceptional in his communication skills. So every time I see that in the advertisement or in the ads, the job postings, that scared me a lot. And I always wondered if, I mean, I'm sure if people who are already watching this, they might have already noticed I do have a speech impediment, and because of that I may not be very fluent, and my earlier version was not as fluent as this version. I've been working on it continuously, and in the past, I mean, that's something I thought was a limiting factor, but somehow I just made it by God's grace.
Oh, which leads me into my favorite question of the podcast. Oh, and I'm so excited. So many of you listening may have noticed Prabhu's a slight speech impediment, and the biggest thing I think is all of us have some kind of version of us or some kind of part of us that we're dealing with, whether it's a challenge from childhood, a challenge later on in our adult years. And this is why, to me, you are such a hero, really. Like, you have dedicated your life and your career to your growth, and you have not let this stop you. Even though, like you said, there were so many moments where there were job postings and opportunities which required, exceptional communication skills and clear communication. And that obviously led to some hesitation, some insecurity, some discomfort, and some hesitate. And in some ways, may have had you second guess the value you bring to to the table and these opportunities. And so my favorite question, and the reason why is that I think it just is so inspiring, your story, is tell us a little bit about the story about your speech impediment and how it all started.
Awesome. Yeah, great question, actually. So it all started, I think, in my formative years, maybe in the ages of 7 or 8. And I don't exactly remember it entirely, but from what I heard from my parents, it looks like I was very normal. I was able to speak very well at that time. But when I started to imitate a person who had a severe stuttering, it looks like that person was complaining against me with my dad. So I was just watching him talk to my dad. Maybe I got frightened, and I was close attention to what he was saying. The speech patterns had an imprint on my mind, maybe. So in the future, I mean, I also tried to imitate him for a while, it looks like, and then it just stuck on to me. I'm still not 100% sure what could be the reason. I'm sure. I mean, I've also studied what could be the reasons, but they still have not figured out the exact reason. So it's still a mystery to me. But what I know for a fact is that I do have it, and it did make my childhood a little harder than it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I loved it, this story so much because in some ways it's so true to you. And even though we don't know exactly the cause and the exact reason why, it has been a big part of your journey. And like you had shared with me earlier, in your childhood, it's obviously, whether there were presentation opportunities or connecting with friends at school, it was always something to keep in mind, and it was always something that you were living with. And so this is such an important podcast to me, not just that it's a PLA podcast, but because there's such an authentic, true, and courageous journey that's highlighted through your journey with your speech impediment and building an incredibly successful career. And this for me is so important because there's so many people out there that may be dealing with their own speech impediment or other characteristics that are making them slightly insecure or hesitant of taking these incredible opportunities and doubting their capabilities of having an amazing career. And that's why this is so important to me. And Prabhu, it's such an honor to have you on the PLA podcast sharing your story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wonder how many kids are in my shoes right now, uh, or how many would have been in the past. How much of potential would have been lost? Because I can clearly um, think and say that at that age, at the formative age, the kid is um, very clear that he is not like any other person, and that becomes his slowly it becomes like his personality, and its personality will be built around it. It's like it's like anybody having an accident where they have to amputate a leg or a hand, and uh, people just have to find a way to live around it. I mean, I would say this is very similar, um, and it is so daunting, and sometimes life can put someone in a path where they had to face harsh people. I mean, I'm sure 98% of the people that I've seen are so kind. Only because of them accepting and overlooking me, I have been in this place. But there are some percentage of people whom have casted lasting memory in me. I tend to forget them. I want to forget them, and I have actually have done that. And I'm sure many of them are already going through this. But if there is one person who's listening to me, I'm not the smartest. I'm not the sincerest person out in the world. But if I can make it, anybody can make it. Okay. So I'm a very average student. So if you're somebody who has this problem, or you could have anything that you think will be a limiting factor in your life, I would say just be resilient. Just hope there will be people whom you will come across who will change your lives, and just practice on something that you want to work on, and eventually it'll all be fine.
Absolutely. Oh, Prabhu, it's incredible. And that piece of resilience, there's so much opportunity that starts to open up when we start to tap into that resilience. And sometimes you're right, we have to tap into that resilience because of a difficulty or a challenge. And yet that muscle of resiliency opens up these great opportunities that are still coming from us for us. I would be really curious to know if at the very, very beginning of your career, someone had given you a piece of advice that would have been so helpful to know, knowing that everything that you know now, what would you have liked that advice to be?
Awesome question. So, in fact, let me take you back about 20 years back. Okay, I have been I have I have been going through about second round of my interview. I mean, I have cleared several rounds of written test, which includes the aptitude kind of a test, and then I go into a group discussion,
Yeah.
and then the interview rounds. At my second round of interview, I've been asked to wait because the director of that company, even though I'm just joining as a trainee programmer, he wanted me to meet the center head. I mean, he was in charge of the entire operations. Okay, and I knew that he's having second thoughts because he might think I might not be good enough, because I don't blame him. I mean, at that time, I would have, but if I would have been in his shoes, I would have thought so. So I've been asked to wait. Everything is flashing in front of me. I'm almost through, just one round to go. Would I be able to finish that interview? And finally, somebody takes me to the center head's room, and on the way, he says the center head was an alumni of IITs. So IITs are one of the, it's like the Harvards of India. Okay, so he's a top guy there. I said I don't know what I'm going to speak in front of him. The moment I went in, he asked me to sit down, and then he asked me to introduce myself. I failed miserably. I was even bad than what I thought I would. But then he just made me stop, and then he said he had to make an important phone call, and he put it on speaker, and he made a quick call, and then he came back to me. When he came back, he said the person whom he spoke to was his IIT batchmate, who was a CEO somewhere. He had a stuttering, while he was doing IIT, and he said, "Now you have listened to him. Can you see how he has improved? So it is possible. I want you to put your 100%, and you have to promise me if I take you in, you will put your 100% and do that." And this happened in my final interview, and because of that gentleman, I got the breakthrough.
Incredible. This is such a touching story.
Yeah.
Oh my, I hope everyone listening has tears in their eyes like I do. Wow. And this is such a highlight of, there are so yes, there are people in this world that are going to doubt us. Yes, there are people in this world that are going to question and are going to say unkind things, but there are some people like this gentleman that are going to believe in us
Yeah.
and that are going to invite us to believe in ourselves too, that are going to change and alter the course of our career in life. And that is so important. And not only is it to understand and acknowledge and find these people, but it's actually to become like this gentleman and giving other people chances like we were given once.
Absolutely. Well said. Very well said. Very well said. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. I'm I mean, I'm glad I had the fortune to interact with people of this nature, and I also have a feeling that it is not a small percentage. The world is filled with people like them.
yeah.
So, for anybody doubting themselves, I'm sure you will find somebody who can change your life.
Oh, beautiful. So good. Incredible. I would like to know, other than the speech impediment, I'd be really curious to know what were some of the biggest challenges of your career and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. Okay. So awesome question. So as I'm in the IT, right? Every day in IT, you got to learn and keep yourself at the cutting edge of technology, because if you are complacent, you soon will be outdated. So if you are thinking to have a long career, better just have that mindset to just learn things. I mean, you might feel that you may not need to learn that now because you're in a comfortable job, but I mean things change so fast, so it is always nice to have that mindset and just keep updating yourself. And we think of it, I would say it applies to almost every field. There will be so many perspectives of yourselves that can be improved. It just not just technology. It can be a soft skill. It can be how you manage your team, or how you play as a team player. Everything can be improved.
Amazing. So true. And I think that that question of adaptability right now is so important. And, things are changing rapidly, which brings me to my next question is this whole thing on the rapid changes that we're seeing in all industries with AI. What is your perspective on AI and what do you think about what's going on?
Oh, I mean, we are uh, for all those who miss to see the dot-com wave. I can tell you this is as big as this, or it could be much bigger, because the changes that are happening and going to happen in the field of AI has the impact of spreading its wings in all sectors, in all forms of human interactions. I'm starting to hear that already all the marketing calls that are being made, it's already 40% AI, and it's not just a one-way call. It is able to answer quick questions. So I'm sure it's going to be transformative on many fronts. And I mean, we are all in the exacting times of our lives, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you shared that it's going to be quite big and it's going to be actually bigger than the dot-com boom, which we've seen. And it's like getting ready. And I think it connects also to your last answer of the adaptability piece. Like if we can allow ourselves to be adaptable and to see this as an opportunity, there's so much still there that we'll get to benefit from of this new change.
Yes, yes. I mean, yeah. Anybody getting into this industry right now will have a better chance, I would say, because people who are already there in IT, it's going to be hard for them to pivot
Mm.
from their existing role into a new role, although they know what is going to happen. But for the ones who are entering, they can be well prepared and they can just master things that are going to have a huge impact in the future.
Incredible. Oh, Prabhu, amazing. I am curious. There's like a couple questions I still have left for you. What are you most excited for the future?
Yeah, I mean, on the personal front, I'm very excited for my daughter who's in her junior high school now, and she's going to be graduating in her high school, and will be going into a university in Michigan. Hopefully, it's a UMH, and she has a high ambition of becoming medical doctor, and the whole family is supporting her, and she's going to do that. So I'm excited for her. Even more than my journey, I'm so much excited for her and to see what she's going to do.
A true proud dad in the best way. And I have one last little question for you. Basically, we are on the PLA podcast. We've gotten the absolute privilege of meeting through PLA, and I'd love to know like what has been the biggest takeaway you've gotten from PLA ever since you've joined?
Oh, PLA was one of the best things that happened for me. I've always wanted to be with people who have this spirit of somehow changing themselves, making them better. It's hard to find it in your own group because geography has this limitation. So being in PPLA was a perfect fit for me. I was hoping to learn some strategies, but the friendships and the friends that I got, and especially the mentors, Amshri and Venkat and Dunya as well. You guys have been great. You guys have been so inspiring that even when I'm off track of not uh, doing things as planned, I mean, you guys have inspired me to come back and back.
Incredible. Oh, Prabhu, we're so blessed to have you and your story and getting to know your story with the PLA podcast and prepping for this has really touched me in so many ways. Like I feel like incredibly inspired and blessed to know you and to see how the story has unfolded and I'm excited to see what still awaits for you and your journey and truly looking forward to it. I really wanted to thank you for your time, for your wisdom, and for everything that you brought to the PLA podcast today.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's been a great session, and I mean, thanks for asking those interesting questions. And I want to end this by saying that if anybody who's interested to take my help, or if they are going through something which is of similar nature that I've been going through, please reach me out on LinkedIn. I'm open to help. And all that I want to say is you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be here.
Oh, so good. Such incredible insights. And please, if anyone is listening to this podcast and you are touched by Prabhu's story or are struggling yourself or know someone that has been struggling in a similar way and aspires for an incredible career regardless, I'd love for you all to reach out to him. He's so open and so generous with his time and his energy and wisdom. I'm going to put on the stage a QR code for anyone that's curious about PLA. And if you want to find out when the next free training is, we provide a ton of value. And a lot of us have enjoyed going to these sessions, myself included, and so many from our community. So I just wanted to put that out there. And Prabhu, I wanted to thank you again for your time and everything that you've provided to us today. It was incredible to have you on here.
Thank you. The pleasure was mine.
and
Okay.
hope to have you again soon. And to everyone listening, we will catch each other for the next PLA podcast episode. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.